you have an assignment about soil. It's a separate worksheet where you talk about soil stuff. After you watch a movie with some dude, you also have a study goal number 6 where you're supposed to write down a bunch of stuff about horizons. I think I told you in your instructions, yeah, to copy the diagram and label the horizons of the soil. I just want to clarify one concept which ties desertification and farming to the dirt. Now, when we talk about soil, there's two basic ingredients, inorganic and organic. You can see them on the screen. Inorganic is little pieces of rock, sand, silt, and clay. Those are like different sizes of pieces of rock. These don't really have a lot of direct value to life. They don't have a lot of nutrients or anything, but they do affect chemistry in soil, and they definitely create physical properties of soil, like how hard it is, how hot it is, how fast water moves through it, or how well water stores in the soil. That's the inorganic stuff. And you'll need to talk about this more later, but I want to talk mostly today, tomorrow, and so on about the organic. Some people call that SOM, like soil organic material. And by organic, I don't mean like the expensive strawberries at market. I mean like stuff from life, animal and plant material that is in the process of decomposing. There's a word for that. It's humus. And be careful, kids mess this up all the time on the AP test. They'll call it hummus, but that is not the same thing. That's like garbanzo beans and tahini, paste, you eat chips or whatever, pita bread. I gotta tell you a detail about the AP test. They don't care about your spelling unless misspelling something is a different word. So if you call it humus, they'll be like, oh, how cute. They meant the right word, no problem. But if you misspell it this way, they'll be like, I got to assume they really meant there's ground up garbanzo beans in the soil, and they would say there's no garbanzo beans in the soil. So if you misspell it as a word which means a different thing, then you do lose the point. So the only way that you can get credit for a misspell, if it's a nonsense word, and kids lose credit for this all the time because they ask a lot of questions about soil, and one of the key issues in soil is humus, so just make sure that you don't spell hummus. I hope you understand what I'm saying. If not, please ask me in class about that scoring issue. Anyway, the organic material or soil organic material is decomposing animal and plant parts, little pieces of a leaf, little pieces of a feather, skin cells, hair, whatever, bone. And when it's fully decomposed, when it got about as small as it can, we call that humus. Some people say the humic content of soil, like how much of the soil is organic material that's decomposing. And these little pieces of things which were alive will keep decomposing until you get, like minerals and nutrients that are useful for life. This is like the fertilizer that a hippie would add. In my garden and in my food production class and in the school garden, we add as many remnants of life as we can find. We like harvest leaves, we harvest seaweed, we collect the poop from chickens, we go to horse places and get poop from horses. You can grind up feathers, you can grind up bones, you can grind up fish. Compost, like from your house. The whole idea is if these pieces were useful to make a living thing, we take them apart and now we can use them to build another living thing, like Legos. soil has little pieces of rock and little life Legos, right? Like pieces of life that are breaking down to be useful again. And these patterns, like that's all the vocab terms in this unit. It'll come up a lot. We'll talk about inorganic or organic. We'll talk about humus a lot. So desertification is the loss of organic material. If you have really good dirt, right, 50-50, organic, inorganic, and you start to grow corn, cut down the corn, grow more corn, cut down the corn, grow more corn. Eventually, you'll just use up all the organic material and you're left with sand. That's called desertification because you've made it into a desert. Sand, right? Desertification is the loss of soil quality, right? You use up all of this until you reach zero organic material. Now you got sand. All that you've got left is this stuff. Know what I'm saying? That's desertification. And we'll talk later about how farming practices solve this problem in different ways. I'm going to stop this in about a minute. Remember that you have a study goal with a bunch of other information and a whole assignment about soil with a bunch of information, including a talk given by another instructor that I've linked on my Neo page. Boop, 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 boop. You got your soil stuff, organic, inorganic. Okay. I'm gonna stop talking because it's been a long day.